Hello, Chandler. We say good morning here in the office, and what I have some few people with me that you will love to know today. If you're in the business of making money, this is the place to be right now, right here. At this time in Chandler, we are running about 91% build up. And everybody's asking themselves this question: where do we go from here? What do we do next? And I have two people in the office with me right now. I would say more like the studio, right? At this point, that really have an answer for you. One of the top economic in this area is with me. And I have another gentleman with me by the name of Micah. You know who he is. He's our economic developer here, right here in Chandler. Now, at this moment, let me start with you, gentlemen, by asking you to introduce yourselves. Can you please, Sir Jim, introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Jim Rounds. I'm an economist and I do economic and public policy consulting.
I heard you're the best.
Yes, you heard correctly.
So this was no mistake, right? You're the best.
I'm pretty sure it's accurate.
I like that when somebody's very confident in what they do. What about you, Micah? Introduce yourself, please.
Micah Miranda, I'm the Economic Development Director here for the City of Chandler, and
Yeah.
have the great privilege of executing the economic vision of Mayor and Council.
Okay, wonderful. So we're talking about the region right now, what's going on in the region, whether it's Arizona, but specifically to Chandler. So we'll go a little bit in a different area with it. But you are at leave right now to tell me where it's at. Let's look into this. Jem, can you tell me really quickly what is a general update right now for Arizona when it comes to the economy and where the future lay and where we're going with this?
Yeah, Arizona's doing quite well. After the Great Recession, we kind of went through this metamorphosis on how we deal with economic development and other public policy items, and we made some great strides, and now we're having to take advantage of that again during this current or recent COVID recession. But we're outperforming most other states. The region itself here in Chandler is doing better than most of the rest of the state. So we're looking at a top region within a top state, and I think the outlook is very favorable.
It is amazing to hear you say that. So this is a great forecast, and we love to hear those kinds of things for those that are coming here in Chandler at this time, business-wise and also land development at this time.
And it helps when you have the natural amenities, the natural economic profile to bring in these businesses. And it's not just general business growth. It's not just an extra restaurant. It's high wage jobs that are coming in. It lifts the economy. It allows taxes to stay competitive, but you're providing additional service to residents. So it's win-win for everybody when you can do that.
I love it. Only in Chandler, right? Only in Chandler. Micah, come on now. Tell me your side of the story. How are you working to attract those type of businesses that he's talking about, the projects and all those things that are going to really make Chandler economically viable? How are you doing it?
Yeah, so some of it is our natural marketing communication. The other side of that is, because we do have such a strong market, is being selective on the type of projects we welcome to Chandler. As you mentioned earlier, we're approaching build up.
Yep.
And so we're running, and so we're running out of available land. And so when we look at the projects that we are actively courting to our community, we want to make sure that they're going to have the highest and greatest ongoing economic impact into the future. So it's very selective at this point. We want to have the best projects for Chandler.
I love it. What does the future look like now when it comes to that?
I think the future is really focused on our core competencies: advanced manufacturing, advanced business services, advancing healthcare initiatives to provide a higher quality of life for residents. So it's really those value-added industries that we're focusing on, and we're very excited about it.
Jobs.
Yes, ma'am.
It's bringing them. Jim, tell me, from your perspective, how should community go about aligning the economic development strategies that's really going to overacting them into the community goals? How should they really incorporate those things together when we're looking at it?
Well, it really starts with leadership. It starts with mayor and council and staff and a great economic development team. Your economic development team is one of the very few that I actually contact when I need some advice on an economic topic.
Right? Bar none.
Yes. So when you have good leadership and you research things and you try to identify what is actually the best way to help the economy grow. Now, you can't force it too much, but you can give it some guidance. So if you have the right planning, the right team, the right economic development tools, and you focus on balance. It's like with
Yes.
life and business, whatever it might be, you need balance. And so you need balance between the various uses to have the strongest economy. And I think Chandler does that very well.
I love it when you talk about strategies, how we position ourselves into the realm of stuff to really see where we're going ahead of time. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm really passionate about that. Micah, we have seen shifts in business. Many of them are happening right now. The models are changing over the past year, so it's not the same as it used to be. Has Chandler been impacted by these shifts? Are you seeing a shift in these areas?
Yeah, I think it's premature to say whether or not these shifts will be permanent.
Okay.
In my business, we have a saying, product wins projects. And so, a strong majority of all the leads we chase require existing building space. Like earlier today, we were out touring Chandler freeway crossings, which was a speculative office project. We're not moving away from that, right? We are going to continue to seek out speculative office in industrial development that provides product for the type of clients that is spelled out in our economic development strategic plan.
Absolutely.
So we're still going that route. We know office is going to be a little bit slower. We know industrial is extremely hot, but it's making sure we're getting the product to match the vision that mayor and council has. So
Love it.
I think it's too soon to say whether or not these shifts are going to be permanent. I don't think they're going to be permanent. I think there's a lot to be said for office culture, being around your colleagues. So we're still really heading down the path that council has set out for us.
I'm understanding that right now, and that's the right path to be in, because the people of Chandler demand that. So we have to really go after what they want. What about the projects? Are they coming to our community? Are you seeing the difference in the projects that are coming?
Yeah, our project pipeline is very strong right now. We're tracking over 330 projects right now when I look at our database. And they are more heavily slanted towards manufacturing right now, which I think you would agree is probably what we're seeing across the region.
Yes.
Office is still there. And so we really haven't seen a slowdown in our lead profile. The great thing for me and my team is to be able to be selective on the type of projects.
I love that, being selective.
Really, really work to execute the vision that mayor and city council has laid out for us.
And you can be selective when you have choices.
That
If you
was
have
the
a good,
question I was
if you
gonna
have a good
ask.
foundation, you have choices, which means you can look at the optimal way of building the community, not necessarily doing what you can to stop some retail leakage like a far off perimeter community might be dealing with. It's different. These are more economic fundamentals that you're dealing with within the city.
Yeah, this is amazing, because I was going to ask you that direct question. What position a city like ours to be so selective? What is it that makes that happen at that moment? Because a lot of people could be saying at this time, because of COVID, they will take whatever, because the economy is really needed it right now. But for us to be in a position where we can be selective, what does position us in that area? Any one of you can take it.
Sure. So to expand on that, you hear from a lot of lawmakers and council members and others throughout the state that sometimes you need to think about running government like a business. You can't, but you can bring in those principles.
Yes.
And I think Chandler over time has been looking at making investments, specifically infrastructure investments, going back many, many years, which has allowed Intel and others to really locate and then expand.
Yes.
And so keeping that mindset of sometimes you need to put money in to get even more money back out later. And all of those discussions, I'm sure there were people that didn't want to do that, but now you can show such a high return on investment from these original, infrastructure and other public policy investments. So, really well done over multiple years.
That is a very good credit to those who have become before us, right? Whether it was council mayors before us, and then now the team that we have that is looking at that. One of my principles is to mind your business so you be successful in your business. I know that you've been very mindful of Chandler's business, and how successful are we at this moment from this point of view, the mindset that he's talking about?
I would say Chandler is very successful. I mean, we take a look at our unemployment rates, which is a good proxy for economic performance. I'll leave some of these economic performance measures to Jim, but our sales tax collection, our vacancy rates, the total net assessed value of permits pulled in Chandler last year was at an all-time high. So I think we're in a really good place. I think our value proposition is known not just locally within the state, but also throughout the country, what Chandler's about. We are the community of innovation. So, I'm very bullish on where we are as a community.
Oh, I love that word, bullish. I'm going to use it again. Bullish. I'm bullish. So it's really important for us to be going in the same direction when it comes to a city that like-minded people that are really thinking forward to see where Chandler is going to go. How is your team doing that with different projects that are coming when you sit around and you're looking at, pushing a project forward? I know I get some call from you sometimes and say, hey, trust me on this.
Yeah.
So how do we do that well?
So I think the foundation is our general plan, which is a voter-approved document that spells out who we are and what we want to be in the future. And then from there we have area plans, which spells out, Price Corridor is going to be this, Air Park is going to be this, Uptown Chandler is going to be that.
Yeah.
And that then allows my team to know we have council support and confidence to push certain projects and really push the boundaries on what we're trying to accomplish, while simultaneously saying, if we get a project through our door that doesn't align with the vision laid out in those documents and expressed by City Council, we can remove ourselves from those conversations gracefully. We would value that input into our community in terms of CapEx, but it just doesn't align at this time and now based upon the feedback from the community. That's really what we work off of, is community input.
It's amazing. That's what it comes about being selective, right?
Yeah.
Because we go right back to that point because we position ourselves to be so. I want to thank you today for being here with me in the studio. It was wonderful to hear where we are going and what you are doing in the region. Economically speaking, it's important for us to stay focused on what's worked and then keep at it, and then kind of look at the other things and then put them into place so that we can keep moving forward with them. I want you to understand that at this point, you can actually get more information on the subject that we've been talking about here today. Go on our website and get the information that you need so you'll be part of this conversation always. Thank you so much for joining us today.